Think the ancient myths are scary? Wait till you hear some of the untold tales of the cosmos. In the course of exploring the universe, scientists have stumbled on several startling myths that can hardly be explained. From the Brainworld to the Multiverse and superfluid SpaceTime, here are 10 wild stories about this vast arena called the universe. Brainworld. The various dimensions of the universe are one phenomenon that is often overlooked by scientists. Normally, there are 3 perpendicular directions in which we can move. But theoretically, scientists believe there is another spatial dimension in which we can move but can't observe directly. This advanced dimensional space is known as the bulk or hyperspace, which accommodates the 3 basic dimensional membranes called brane. As odd as it sounds, the Brainworld theory solves several bottlenecks in physics. In one instance, theoretical physicist Lisa Randall of Harvard University and Raman Sundram of the University of Maryland postulated a version of the Brainworld that solves an irregularity in subatomic forces. In their submission, the scholars suggested the existence of other branes parallel to ours. Furthermore, there is a strong belief that the Brainworld could, in the long run, help scientists to make new predictions that can be tested in lab experiments. The Holographic Universe. Still speaking about dimensions, scientists have found a 2-dimensional object that includes a full 3-dimensional image. Think of it like a hologram that takes data from a 2-dimensional surface but projects it in 3 dimensions. Ironically, scientists have found that the laws of physics seem to make more sense when they're written in 2 dimensions. Additionally, most of the weird phenomena like the nature of black holes, quantum mechanics, and the confusion around gravity are easier to solve in 2 dimensions. The Big Splat. You must have heard or read about galaxies slowly drifting apart. Well, this is true, and the gap between the various galaxies that exist in the universe is growing bigger by the day. Theorists believe it will become so vast sometime in the future that light from one galaxy will not be able to reach another. Even worse is the fact that as stars reach the end of their life cycle, the universe will become dark, cold, and void, and there will be no light or heat source left. This sounds more like the end of humanity, but according to the Big Splat theory, as described by physicist Michio Kaku, this doomsday scenario will actually serve as a template for a new universe, with the cycle expected to continue endlessly. The progress of creating a new universe will be similar to the situation in the Brainworld theory, where one cold, empty brain collides with another. 2 cosmologists, Neil Turok and Paul Steinhardt, reckon that such a collision would generate enough energy to birth a new universe. PlasmaFueled Cosmos. The Big Bang Theory is the most trusted explanation for how our universe was formed, but we don't often talk about some of the key observations that support it, like the expansion that occurred after the quick lightning explosion and the cosmic microwave, CMB. More careful observations have shown that the smaller and hotter version of the universe that existed after the Big Bang was filled with glowing plasma, much like the Sun. Today, this superhot phase still exists as an ocean of radiation that fills the whole of space. And even though the universe has cooled this radiation over time to a temperature of around minus 270 degrees Celsius or minus 454 degrees Fahrenheit, it is still very much detectable by radio telescopes. The steady-state universe. According to history, the universe was dense in the past, and there are signs that it could become less dense even in the future. Obviously, not all science scholars are cool with this analogy, so a couple of theories have been put forward suggesting ways for density to remain constant despite the expansive nature of our universe. Basically, this would involve the endless creation of matter at an intense rate of about 3 hydrogen atoms per cubic metre per million years. But unfortunately, this theory does not conform to the cosmic microwave CMB analogy. The Multiverse. The multiverse is perhaps the most discussed wild story of the universe. Based on the normal explanation of the Big Bang, which explains the uniformity of the CMB, it is important to suggest the emergence of a super-fast expansion. The widespread belief amongst scientists is that the universe existed as one tiny bubble in a vast sea of inflating space shortly after it transcended from the inflationary phase. According to a theory by Paul Stein called eternal inflation, there are other bubble universes like our own occasionally popping up in other parts of the inflationary sea. Together, all of these tiny bubbling universes are what scientists refer to as the multiverse. Scientists suggest that each of these universes will have a different law of physics from the one that governs our universe. Unfortunately, there's no way to find out what these laws are because we don't have the means to observe the other universes yet. We got gravity wrong. The endless theories that exist in the universe are all founded on our knowledge of gravity, which is one of the 4 fundamental laws of physics and the only force in physics that dictates how large-scale matter behaves. However, scientists have found that gravity alone is not sufficient enough to explain some astrological observations. For instance, stars on the outskirts of the galaxy move so fast that it is literally impossible for them to remain in orbit. Or is the only thing holding them in place the gravitational force of the visible galaxy? But somehow they stay in orbit. Also, scientists strongly believe that clusters of galaxies are held together by forces that are seemingly stronger than gravity. Theorists believe there are 2 main possible explanations for this phenomenon. It's either the extra gravitational pull is being supplied by dark matter, or our theory of gravity is wrong altogether. Superfluid SpaceTime. Another theory that could well be wrong is the theory of dimensions. Normally, public opinion is that only 3 dimensions exist. But scientists have found that the universe can also exist in 4-dimensional space-time. Over time, many theories have been put forward to validate this claim. One of the more prominent ones is the theory submitted by Stefano Liberati in the Physics Review Letter Journal. Stefano claims that space-time isn't just an abstract element, but rather a physical substance in itself, similar to a large body of water. Based on this ideology, it is believed that space-time consists of microscopic particles, just like an ocean would contain countless molecules of water, with the only difference being that the particles of space-time are on a deeper level of reality than our current space exploration gadgets can reach. Cosmic ego trip. It's human nature to dislike and possibly resist ideas that deviate from the norm, especially when it clashes with our ego. It's the same everywhere, including in the cosmic world. Scientists are keen to explore every corner of the world beyond. They are happy to return to the moon and would do anything to colonize Mars. But once the discussion shifts to the possible existence of extraterrestrial life, the tone immediately changes. Most times there are strong denials and vicious attacks just so that we can continue to validate the seemingly false opinion that humans are the most superior life form in the universe. One possible reason behind this is that scientists are certainly not willing to let their ego take another hit after the Copernican revolution debunked the strongly held scientific belief that our Earth was the centre of the universe. But in the end, it doesn't change the fact that more advanced civilizations could be living within our universe. And no matter how much scientists deny it, we'll meet them someday. Simulation theory. Are we living in a computer simulation? Quite possibly so. Since ancient times, scientists and philosophers have pondered the existence of other civilizations. The scientific research around these thoughts led to the discovery of theories like the Brainworld and Multiverse. But scientists have added a strange hypothesis to that list called simulation theory. Not only does this theory predict the existence of other civilizations, but it also posits that our entire universe might be a virtual world programmed by some tech super-skilled nerd from an advanced civilization, similar to what we saw in the Matrix. Interestingly, the idea has been promoted many times in the past, even by experts within and beyond the space industry. In a seminal paper published in 2003, Swedish philosopher Nick Bostrom argued strongly that it is very likely that we live in a virtual world. In reality, the simulation theory breeds even more confusion for scientists and ordinary humans alike. If indeed we live in a simulated world, what would happen to us if the nerd that programmed us decides to shut down his computer? Would that be the end of human civilization? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section.